In this episode of Mississippi Roads, we'll look into the future of aviation. Travel to 3 unique farms to learn how they grow produce without soil, and meet a group of high school students and their solar-powered car.
Down Mississippi Road. Mississippi Road.
Hi, I'm Walt Grayson. Welcome to Mississippi Roads. And this week, we're talking technology. Now, for instance, it's a new era in aviation. Technology is making aircraft like this smaller, lighter, less expensive, and you might throw in more versatile than ever before. And the tide of Mississippi, research being done here is leading the way in taking aircraft like this into the sky.
Drone aviation, true drone unmanned aircraft aviation, goes all the way back to 1917 in the United States when the very first rudimentary guided unmanned aircraft came on the scene. Never had it in my mind that it could turn into this.
We don't like calling it drones because when we think drones, we think of the military with Hellfire missiles, invasion of privacy.
Or they may think about destruction and chaos, but that's not the image that we like to portray. So we would call it a UAV.
A UAV or a system. Unmanned air systems or aerial systems is probably a more formal name, but I think the community failed to find a nice little word like Walkman or drone to use, so we're stuck with drone. The FAA would like to protect their space and say, we're only going to let the people that we like or we want in the space to be in the space. They've got a humongous problem. If they could say the only people that could fly in the space are commercial aircraft with pilots that have 30,000 flight hours, they would do it for safety. Their number one job is safety. But they're forced by economic considerations, which Congress is driving them with, to say, hey, there's other things that need to operate in this space. You need to figure out the safety protocols for them to operate.
It is a technology that is here to stay, and not just to stay, but it is going to be the way of the future in aviation. It's going to be unmanned. So we have to have operators and pilots for those vehicles. Who is going to train them?
MPB 1080, perfect. As far as I know, Hinds is the only community college that has a drone program here, and there are very few outside of the state. The drone program was established for crops and all that stuff, for agricultural use, inspection use.
Good, ready to take off. I got you at 61, ready to land when you are. Mississippi's on the forefront because it's got a lot of rural open space, so there's a lot of space to test. It's also got a lot of farmland, which is an area that can benefit from getting your feet off the ground and your eyes way up in the air to look over the top of the crops to see how they're doing. The research is really going to be, I think, in the application areas. With this unique tool, how can you do better videography? How can you do a better job, faster, cheaper, better, of sensing crop emergence, crop health, the crop being ready to harvest, pine bark beetles into your trees, erosions of coast. If you replenish a barrier island, is the sand washing away or not? So instead of having to get a manned aircraft to fly out there, maybe you can just use a small UAS and it's a much cheaper operation.
This multispectral camera that we have here, the Red Edge MicroSense, this is a second one that we use just for backup. But as you can see, it's got 5 different cameras. Each individual lens is capturing a different wavelength of energy reflectance from the plant. It's really pretty advancing in technology, so this is just one of the many cameras that we use for vegetation health and agricultural use. Our main job as the pilot is just to collect the data, make sure it's good data, and then we have another analytical department that takes that data and they decipher it for the consumer or the researcher or the farmer in general.
We had the pieces in place in different areas to integrate different research and activities like that to put us in a position to provide value add to the advancement of unmanned air systems.
All right, reset the camera. The camera up just slightly. All right, camera's ready.
The main shot is coming from the far side of the lake between the house and the tree line. Fly toward Connor. It's probably as low as you can, 6 feet, 4 feet, something like that. It was only natural that since Hinds had a film and TV program, to combine it with a drone program for aerial cinematography. And that's the purpose of this class. Roll camera. Roll camera. All right, and action! We're pairing students who are getting their pilot's license, who want to fly these drones, along with my students who want to do camera operations and work together as a team to accomplish, specific shots. What's unique about our program is the use of camera work. We're teaching the aerial cinematography class, so now you're combining 2 very unique careers into one.
So is your camera set straight ahead now?
Now I got it
you
straight.
can tell, don't touch the,
now I
you
can tell where I'm at.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay.
So as you come across, you keep that heading, but don't look at the screen. And there are opportunities for them to go to work everywhere. There's going to be very high demand for this skill set because unmanned aircraft is the next golden era of aviation. It's the wave of the future.
With our coastline and with the hurricanes and the oil spills that we've had, I really think you're going to see Mississippi be a place where there's not only research, but development and operations of autonomous or unmanned vehicles all the way from the bottom of the ocean up to the top of the atmosphere. We already have NASA Space Center where they're testing rockets. We have the Navy down there that has an unmanned systems mission now. So we're going to see testing and operations, unmanned surface vehicles, unmanned underwater vehicles, and unmanned air vehicles in Mississippi, for sure.
Well, from our technology in the air, we're going to settle back down to earth and visit 3 unique farms in Mississippi. They're hydroponic farms in that they don't use dirt to grow their produce. And the advantage there is they actually use less water. They use no pesticides, and it doesn't take nearly as much area. Plus, they can produce year-round. Take a look.
What draws me to hydroponics is the way that the hydroponic operates, the way it grows, the way it produces, the amount of production you can get from your plants. You're able to feed that plant exactly what it needs for the entire duration of its life cycle.
Of course, the extended growing season is, the year-round ability to produce quality, consistent produce, high-end produce that's chemical-free and something local, fresh, healthy that we can provide in large quantities to restaurants, grocery stores, and also through farmers markets and CSA programs.
With hydroponic, one, you're getting the cleanest product, You're getting no pesticides, no chemicals or anything in there, which is huge now. I mean, people, this generation is all about wanting to know where the food's at, wanting to know how it's grown, and who their farmers are.
People want to know where the food came from. They want to know how it's been handled. They want to know what's been put on this. But what we're providing is a fresh alternative economic choice. The local farmer is taking the risk of fresh produce, which is a huge risk. It does not last forever. And so you're going to find that your local produce may be a little bit pricier than this commodity produce coming out of California or Mexico or Guatemala, but you know that it's good fresh produce and you know who grew it and where it came from. Thus the economic choice.
Hydroponic is basically growing without any soil or anything that's biodegradable.
We use different mediums in place of soil. The mediums change from depending on the crop. We use a thing called rock wool that is a spun rock that we seed our lettuce into, and it has to have, the seed has to have something to hold the root system.
Dirt serves several purposes for plants. It's support, and it also is a bank of nutrients that the roots can seek out. What hydroponics is employing is the water side of it with the nutrients that are delivered specifically for the variety of plants you're trying to grow.
If you're outside, you're getting bugs and pesticides, and people are spraying their plants, putting milk or grow on them and stuff like that. You're not getting any of that here. You're getting completely clean, no chemicals, no pesticides or anything like that, and that just makes a better product.
We've put a pen and pencil to it on what you would have if you were growing this outside, and the kind of the rule of thumb for planting these plants, we figure that we've got 5 to 6 acres worth of crops growing in 18,000 square feet, which means our water requirements are going to be less, as that the plants are delivered by drip or recirculating irrigation. The nutrients in the water is delivered directly to the root. This allows us to deliver what the plant wants and needs directly to it, and then it's up to that plant how it's going to perform after that.
If you find someone that's growing lettuce, tomatoes, cucumbers, whatever, hydroponics, I encourage you to go and try it. You will be very pleased with the taste.
It's satisfying to hear the feedback from the customers and from the restaurants and people that are consuming our product. And I didn't know lettuce had a taste until we grew this.
We want farmers to bring in fresh produce here locally. So, we're not buying from, a supplier way out in California or, Florida or Mexico or something like that. We want it.
The market is open for this. There's plenty of people that can use these products, and all the competition that we really have is just coming from the other side of the country. It's not here. There's enough room here for plenty more farmers.
One of the reasons why I encourage other farmers that come by to see me is don't look at me as your competition, and I'm definitely not going to look at you as competition. Your competition is actually being shipped in from other countries.
I have restaurants tell me all the time that their customers notice the difference when they switch from a commodity California type, cut lettuce to what we're selling. The customers, they know immediately. And so it's satisfying when we work as hard as we do here to provide the product that we do, and people really do appreciate it, and they thank us. We have people come up all the time and thank us for what we do, and that does help to make it feel like it's all worth it.
Well, from the farm, we're going to head out to the highway, but not in just any automobile. Scientists have been experimenting with solar-powered cars for a long time now. Matter of fact, they have solar-powered automobile competitions around the world. And at those competitions, you'll find world-class teams from places like Stanford and MIT and Houston High School. Houston, Mississippi High School.
It actually began back in 1994 as a tech prep project. That was an initiative that the state of Mississippi started back several years ago. And what its primary focus was, as my understanding, was to integrate the academics with the technical skills. We realized that we had a group of students that could do this, that were extremely smart, and we wanted them to understand that they could become the leaders, the engineers of tomorrow.
We're the Houston Solar Race Team. We have a solar car that runs off 16 lithium iron phosphate batteries and solar panels, and it runs completely off the sun. No gas, anything like that.
And we set a goal of building our first true race car. 1999 came around. We went to the school in Dallas, Texas, where the race begins. That year, the race was a cross-country race from Dallas to Indianapolis, Indiana, and we were able to finish 7th out of that race. So the second year, 2001, we went back to the race. And when the race was over, I think we were some 274 miles ahead of the second place car. And that passion continues to live today.
14 years straight winning, it'll open up eyes, especially for a high school. I mean, the sense of pride and accomplishment that it gives you, winning all those races, it'll humble you.
We've won 14 years consecutive here, and that was recognized by the World Solar Challenge in Australia. And they offered us a mission into the World Solar Challenge if we could get over there. The Australian Outback race basically begins in the Northern Territory of Darwin. 3,200 and something kilometers later, you're at the finish line in Adelaide. At present, there had never been a high school to drive across the entire continent, and that's a huge challenge. So we went there with that goal in mind. And we've tried 3 different times. The latest was last fall in 2015, and we all but made that. And that is a huge challenge, and that's why it's a world-class event. We were able to participate in the Panasonic World Solar Challenge in the adventure class, and at present we drove the furthest distance.
It was kind of challenging. Mainly in the car, we had to stay focused most of the time on the road. It was kind of hard to do that. Sitting in the car for hours on end. And it was really fun driving, seeing people on the side of the road, you know, waving at us, little kids, you know, watching the solar car teams pass by.
You get tired, you get weary, it doesn't have a cruise control, it doesn't have AC, it doesn't have all these nice things that a nice car would have, and 6.5 hours is rough in a car. That thing's about 10 times worse. It's like a small go-kart. It's just real bumpy and rough, and you've got to watch everything you do. You got to be completely alert the whole time.
Some of the challenges we faced in Australia, the main one is the road train. You're meeting these massive trucks that pull anywhere from 2 to 6 trailers behind them. Typically at the World Solar Challenge, you have universities, corporations, and they have access to some of the latest, greatest equipment.
We're just a high school team going up against colleges, MIT, Michigan State, Stanford, all those kind of guys. And then seeing them and then us, that was pretty cool.
If you had to name one thing that really made you win, and that is testing. All the equipment, learning how to use it and how to use it correctly.
We did a lot of training during the summer. We did a lot of driving. Everybody that was going to be a driver had to have a mandatory 12 hours of training in the car.
One of the biggest things that I think they learn is the importance of each other, how to function as a team.
It helps us learn for ourselves. I think that's really what he wants us to do. He wants us to figure out the problem or whatever's wrong and be able to fix it without him being able to tell us.
That was my attraction to this event, is it is all student driven. That's the purpose of the Solar Car Challenge.
Teamwork it is vital because you can't be arguing, and you have to work together, and everybody knows we're on the same team, we have the same goal, and we have to get this done.
We've had to totally straighten up our act. We're in Houston, Mississippi. Everybody thinks Houston, Texas. We're just a little country town and country boys and girls, and we really had to straighten up our act for over there because this is a collegiate level. We have to act extremely professional.
There was a lot of things to learn, but I guess the main thing that we could all get from it is just growing as a team. A lot of us weren't close, but a lot of us were at the same time. And so we all got to grow closer as a team.
I see some great things. I think we're getting better every year. I think the students, the car, they will be able to take it further and faster as time goes on. And we see this in the solar field industry within itself, and it's no different with our students.
That's all the time we have for this week, but if you'd like information about anything you've seen on the show, contact us at mpbonline.org/Mississippi Roads. And make sure you like us on our Mississippi Public Broadcasting Facebook page. Till next time, I'm Walt Grayson. I'll be seeing you on Mississippi Roads, or maybe in the air.
Mississippi Road, Mississippi Road.
Mississippi Roads is made possible in part by the generous support of viewers like you. Thank you.
Hi, I'm Walt Grayson. We're glad you enjoy Mississippi Roads, but there's other shows that we produce on a weekly basis at MPB that we'd like for you to sample, like Conversations, featuring interviews with notable Mississippians. Fit to Eat, a show about healthy cooking. At Issue, our news program tackling Mississippi's most important stories. And now for the next 3 minutes, we'd like for you to have a real good sample of one of our newest productions, Amped and Wired. Enjoy.
Here's an old one. Got a new job and I'm on the way. You need a secret name on my color and tag. You were always my defeat. You were always mine. And all I know is I'll never tear us apart. 'Cause it'll break your mind.
First I adored you, now I just ignore you. If you feel you gotta walk, then I prefer for you to run. I must have written the same song 100 times.
I'm not just rapping just for the sake of rapping, just so you can hear how cool this line is. But make it enjoyable, make it marketable, but still make it something where years from now people can play it and feel something.
Walk away, love. Walk away, love. Walk away, love. Walk away, love. It's okay, love.
Around the world you used to.
We played together, and we'd never played together before. At the end of the show, a friend of ours said, "Man, you guys ought to form a band. That was the best show I've seen all year. You should call it Willie Sugar Cat."
Breaking chains with teeth and you're sinking down on me. Yeah, baby, I'm that girl, that girl, that girl. That girl, that girl, that girl, that girl.
Live performances and exclusive interviews from Mississippi Public Broadcasting.